Well, it's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, we have AEW Dynamite featuring, of course, the AEW World Tag Team titles and the Trio titles on the line. But a lot of things have taken place on them, as you probably realize. A little situation took place that would lead up to Revolution, so that's going to be a lot of fun to take a look into. But first things first, Stardom had the recent event back into Osaka with more preliminary matches, but also the main event featuring the future of Stardom Championship. Miyu Amasaki defends her championship against Hanako, and this will be Hanako's second attempt of this championship. So we'll see how things will go. And then we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everybody, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on a like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have been said. I believe it's time to hit the highway. Now, let's begin with, of course, with our first review, Stardom. Stardom in Osaka. Well, they make the return back to Osaka again, and this time at the EDION Arena Osaka number 2. It opened up with a 6-woman tag match. We have the Cosmic Angels Sayaka Kurara, Natsupoi, and Tam Nakano taking on Hate, consisting of Konami, Natsuko Tora, and Saya Kamitani. But you all know this is a preliminary match, as you probably remember that later on the 24th of this month, Tam and Kurara will team up against Kamitani and a partner of her choice. We don't know who. Now, you all know the stipulation. If Tam and Kurara are successful in winning this match, then Tam will get another opportunity of the red belt. But however, if she loses, well, Kamitani is determined to take Kurara. Now, of course, a lot of things have been taking place in this match. Apparently, Tam Nakano accidentally botched 2 kicks onto Kurara instead of Kamitani, and this resulted for Kamitani, of course, to uh, apply the Star Crusher, and just like that, 1, 2, 3. But however, Kamitani was determined to show her that she could be a much better teacher than Nakano. But Tam wasn't going to allow her to take her away from her. So there are people who still believe this could happen, but Kurara during the post-match comments mentioned she felt weak, but Tam is feeling frustrated. I can tell because, as you probably know, this thing with her and Kamitani is taking it way too far. So we'll see what happens from here now before we get to the 24th. Now, speaking of the Cosmic Angels, we got the other members consisting of Aya Sakura and Sai Ano. Now, I cannot recall if they ever teamed up, but they face against the members of Stars, consisting of Momokogo and Hana. Now, nothing too specifically about this one, but we do know recently in the previous match, Aya Sakura has declared herself that she wants to be the future of Stardom, which Hana has done it before. So basically, now her legacy is threatened. But however, Momokogo is the one who ended up on the wrong side of one of Aya Sakura's kicks, and just like that, knocked her out cold. 1, 2, 3. It's over. Now we have an interesting handicap match for many of you probably wondering. We have the rookies, Julia Him, Akira Kodogane. They team up with EXV members Rian and Hanako. They take on the core members of Stars, Koguma, Azuki, and Mayu Itani. Now, some of you would think it's a handicap match. EXV and the rookies would win. No, guys, the X factor is this. You got two rookies involved. They have least experience, So, and of course, Rian has also less than 1 year of experience in Stardom. So basically, there's a lot of holes in that. But however, this match ended with Koguma applying a Kuma roll onto Kurugane, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now our next match is more of a, how to say, a somewhat of a number one contendership for the high speed belt. Remember, Yuna Mizumori issued a challenge for this belt before and she lost. And now she's making a play because she knows she's facing someone who's familiarized in the high speed. And that is, of course, Fukigen Death. So you would have assumed that somehow Yuna Mori will finally prove her worth. But unfortunately, that did not go according to plan because somehow Fukigen Death was able to counter whatever Yuna Mizumori threw out. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, lost by pinfall. But however, Mei Sita showed up to, of course, gloat to Mizumori, but it's now been set that she'll be facing Fukigen Death. So we'll see how that rolls up. Now, our next match, this is a very interesting one. We have God's Eye, consisting of Kotatsu, Rana Yagami, Lady C, and Shuri. They take on Neo Genesis, Suzuki, Azumi, Mei Seta, and Starlight Kid. Now, some of you probably would think in some capacity that this match was going to end in favor of Neo Genesis. Normally, you would be right, but however, this one had a surprise win that we did not expect, and that is Lady C, of course, winning the match when she gave Azumi the big boot in the face, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she pinned 1/3 of the Artist Champions, and this is a huge win for her. And of course, it's also kind of interesting. Don't forget, Lady C's first unit she ever joined was Queen's Quest. Azumi was a member of that. But also, the rule of thumb of this, as you know, Lady C pinned 1/3 of the Artist Champions. So that means she could challenge, and of course, she issued the challenge. And you know that Shuri is proud of her, knowing that she has done it. I mean, she has struggled so much. But I think maybe God's Eye has helped her to elevate herself ever since Queen's Quest disbarred. But we'll see what happens. Now for our main event, the Future of Stardom Championship, Hanako versus Miyu Amasaki. Now remember, Hanako earned this opportunity by pinning Amasaki, and this led to that. Now, two of the preliminary matches, Hanako had picked up the momentum, but in the last one, it was Amasaki. But the real question is, how is Amasaki going to beat someone who's a bit more bigger, but has a bit of a very interesting experience as a powerhouse and using that deadly submission? Well, I'm sure Amasaki has been well prepared, but fortunately, this match did not go either way by both ladies, so this match ended in a time limit draw after 15 minutes. So basically, that's how it ends. But when it comes to this type of match, both ladies are not satisfied. Sooner or later, there's going to be a rematch to right that wrong. But the real question is, Aniko mentioned that the only reason she wanted to win this belt was to be in the same kind of environment, to follow the footsteps of both Mina Shirakawa and Maika. Now, if you guys don't know this, yes, both Maika and Mina Shirakawa won that belt. I remember when Maika had that belt, but she lost it to Saida. But Saida injured herself, and that belt became vacant. And Mina won it during the tournament when she faced Unagi Sayaka at the time. So that kind of sets it up right there. But we'll see what happens, as we don't know if she'll get another opportunity, because we do have a few people who definitely will love another opportunity of this belt. And I think Hina is probably one of those that will love another opportunity, and a few others, maybe Sayakorara, Ayasaka, whoever. But we'll see. But for now, we'll see what happens down the road from here on out. But right now, let's move on with AEW Dynamite. Okay, AEW Dynamite opened up with an open challenge by none other than the best wrestler alive, Max Caster, but he ate those words badly until finally Hangman got his hands on him. Now Max tried to play it smart, but it was just not working. Well, this match ended with Hangman applying the buckshot lariat, and 1, 2, 3, it was done. So thanks for your time, kid. Our next match, we had the AEW World Trios Championship. The Undisputed Kingdom, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Adam Cole take on the Death Riders, Pac, Wheeler Yuta, and Claudio. Now, of course, you know how the Death Riders are determined to prove they are the dominant faction in AEW, and that's the point what they are trying to do. Now, we have seen them; they would do whatever it takes by cheating, make sure they got things their way. But of course, Wheeler Yuta got away with it by, of course, giving a low blow to Kyle O'Reilly, and and then, of course, doing the inside cradle, allowing for, of course, the Death Riders to retain the belts. But of course, you cannot end a match after when there's a Death Rider beatdown on their opponents, which they're known for. But luckily, Daniel Garcia and, of course, 2.0 Daddy Magic Matt Menard and Cool and Ange made the save. So we'll see what happens down the road with them. Now, Moxley, along with what's her name, with Marina Shafir, were just passing through the backstage until Adam Copeland whacked Moxley in the back with the chair, and then Marina Shafir tried to do whatever it takes. But however, this is where things get interesting. Hangman Cope decided to put Marina Shafir in a room, but has the briefcase on one hand while her hand was on the other side of the door. But luckily, Switchblade was there to cut the chain off where it contains the AEW World Title, and just like that, just left. So basically, they well, I don't know if you hijack it, but because we felt that Mox has been hijacking the AEW World Title for that long, but we'll see. Now, MJF was doing his interview talking about, of course, Dustin Rhodes, and Hangman Page got in his face, and then MJF was saying things about him. So, you know how MJF, he is the salt of the earth. Now, our next match, we have Hook, Katsuyori Shibata, and Samoa Joe taking on John Cruz, Aaron Solo, and Rosario Grillo. Now, of course, you probably can guess this match was going to fall in favor of Shibata, Hook, and Joe. And it ended with Joe applying the Muscle Buster on Cruz, and then 1, 2, 3. However, post-match, Joe decided to give them, he calls Shibata and Hook his brothers, and of course, they solve problems. And one of those problems that they have is Christian Cage. So, of course, he's a coward. Christian Cage is running. He's allowing for his two sons to do his battles. and they decided we're gonna take you guys on next week on Dynamite. So we'll see if Christian Cage has the cojones to pull it off. Now, our next interview, we have Chris Jericho. As you know, um, Brian Keith, the Bad Apple, failed to claim the bounty. So Chris Jericho said that he has doubled the bounty, and of course, calling out Bandito. And then Renee Paquette was doing another interview, but this time with Willow Nungo, talking about her upcoming events. But later, of course, Willow was attacked by Marina Shafir because you got Jon Moxley throwing a temper tantrum because he feels that he's losing the power at the moment. But we'll get to that. Now, Jericho was supposed to have a match against Bandito, but however, the match never happened. It was a trap by of course Jericho when the Bad Apple appeared, and luckily the Outrunners showed up to give a helping hand. Then Big Bill showed up to take care of business to claim the bounty, but however, Powerhouse showed up out of nowhere too, and we saw some business between those two, and just like that. So basically, no one claimed the bounty. Now, Jay White and Cope, as you probably know, are gloating with the fact that they carried the briefcase, telling Moxley, look, Mox, I got this because you were holding the entire locker room on your thumb. And now we have it. But you know what? If you want this back, meet us by the end of the night in the ring. So, just like that. Now, our next match, we have Dustin Rhodes versus MJF. Now, we did see some classic Dustin Rhodes moves and all that. Not to mention the Reckoning, Crossroads, but MJF, as you probably can guess, was stopping nothing to, of course, to prove his point. Because, of course, Tony Schiavone did make a valid point that from what people are saying, MJF is a one-hit wonder. And he won by crossface, but Dustin Rhodes did not tap out. But all of a sudden, during the post-match, Hangman Page actually showed up. And of course, a big fight happened. Security tried to separate them, so we could see a feud happening. Now, our next match, we have Megan Bayne taking on Maya World. Well, you can guess that this match ended with Megan Bayne applying the F5 on her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 was over. But all of a sudden, Chris Statlander showed up, facing off against Penelope Ford. Nothing too dramatic or squash match, but this match ended with Chris Statlander applying the Wednesday Night Fever onto Penelope Ford. But however, during the post-match, Megan Bayne showed up and took her out completely, sending her on notice. So basically, we're seeing a strong woman who is determined to prove her point. So we'll see. Now, here's where things got a little too funny. Of course, we saw like what we thought was Mercedes Moné, but there was like a puppet of it. That puppet that, of course, Harley Cameron was using. So what was the whole point? Well, Harley Cameron said she wanted to thank her because she's been trying to get her attention for a while. I mean, she wants to have this opportunity of this match in her home country this Saturday and, of course, in Australia. So I don't blame her for what she's feeling, but we'll see. Now, our next match, we have the AEW World Tag Team titles. The Guns, Austin and Colton, take on the Hurt Business, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Now, of course, the Hurt Business are proving their point too, that they want to hurt people. But however, some great cohesion between Lashley and Benjamin when Lashley speared Austin, and then of course Benjamin was the one who pinned him, and just like that, they retained the belts. But however, during the post match, we did see the arrival of Lance Archer and Brian Cage. Now, you know something, I noticed something interesting. This is the first time we're going to see two former members of Suzuki-gun standing across from each other. Now, some of you probably question, those who probably say, wait a minute, we know that Lance Archer used to be Suzuki-gun, but who was the other one? Shelton Benjamin. Hello? So, yeah. So, that's going to be interesting to see. Now, we did see a bit of a video promo by Mariah May claiming that Toni Storm should have just stayed dead. But now she feels that in Australia, that'll be the end of it. We'll see about that. Now, as Switchblade and Cope made their promise, they were in the ring. So Cope said, look, just give me an opportunity of the AEW World title in Revolution. Now, Mox said no, he doesn't want to give him to him. So he decided, okay, I got a better idea. So he brought in Spike. So if you guys remember, is that board with the Spike. That was pretty much it. So he was cracking it. So Moxley decided he couldn't take it. So basically, the Death Riders tried to get involved. And then, of course, Cope got what he wanted. He got his match against Mox at, of course, Revolution. But however, Cope and Switchblade are prepared against the Death Riders, Moxley and Claudio. So we're going to see where that goes. So we're excited for that event. So we'll see. But for right now, we are done with all the reviews. Let's move on to some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with upcoming events. Let's start with GCW's events. Now, as you know, they will be here in San Diego on the 28th of February. They just announced another match, Zara Zacher versus Sandra Moon. And then, of course, on the 1st of March in LA, the Coldest Winter 3, the GCW World title will be defended. Effie defends his championship against Cindy Akeem. And then, of course, on the 15th of March in Atlantic City at the Showboat, Ashes to Ashes, they just announced Slade making his appearance. Now, two things I'm going to announce for the Jersey J Cup that will be featuring GCW and JCW. Gabe Kidd will be participating in both shows, but in non-tournament matches. Night 1 on the 15th of February, he'll be facing against Homicide. And on the 16th of February, he'll be facing Mance Warner. Now, Deadlock Pro Wrestling, DPW, will have No Pressure in Chicago on the 16th. 2 matches have been mentioned, and they're both title matches. The tag team titles, Violence is Forever will defend their belts against the Grizzled Young Vets. And then, of course, the national championship, LeBron Cozono defends his belt against Luke Jacobs. Now, New Japan has announced the return of the New Japan Cup. It will start on March 7th. Let me pull up who's participating in this event. I know I saved that. Now, here it is. Okay, so here's who we have. We have Yota Tsuji, Evil, David Finlay, Yuya Uemura, Sanada, Yoshihashi, Rohei Oiwa, Chase Owens, Zack Sabre Jr., Gabe Kidd, Ren Narita, Taichi. Now, that's one bracket. Now, the other bracket features El Phantasmo, Great-O-Khan, Shota Umino, Tetsuya Naito, Cal Newman, Jeff Cobb, Tomohiro Ishii, Drilla Maloney, TJP, Bolton Oleg, Badlock Fale, and Shingo Takagi. Now, the matches that will be taking place on the 7th will only feature, of course, Yota Tsuji and Evil, Yuya Uemura, and Sanada. So those are the 2 matches that will start out the entire tournament. Now, Wrestling Revolver, as you all remember, they announced they will be making their appearance in Chicago. Well, they just gave the name of it. More info is coming out. It will happen on April 5th. And the name of the show is called We Did That. So, catchy name, not gonna lie. MLW has announced for Battle Riot on the 5th of April in LA. Big Kaiju, Shoko Nakajima from Tokyo Show Pro Wrestling will be making her debut. And then finally, we got updates with Prestige Wrestling. As you know, they'll have 2 events in the month of April. The first one is Roseland 11. That will take place on the 12th. They announced X-Pac will be making his appearance. And then there's the Nothing to Lose event on the 17th of April in Las Vegas. El Phantasmo will be making his return. Now to our developments. KENTA, well, this was a surprise. It just revealed that KENTA made his return to Pro Wrestling Noah full time. Now, some of you may question, why did he went to Noah? Well, many of you don't know this. That's where his career started. Ever since he was let go by WWE a few years ago, many people presume, oh, he's going to go back to Noah. But yeah, now he's back with Noah this time, so it's going to be interesting to see that. Busted Open Radio has an well, Thunder Rosa was on Busted Open Radio explaining how surprised she was to hear about Ricky Starks being on NXT, and this is what she said. I was on the phone with someone, and they were like, "Oh my God, Ricky is on TV on NXT," and I said, "Wait, what?" I was completely surprised. It took me completely by surprise. He was one of the hungriest individuals I have ever met. Intellectually, physically, in his career, he extremely passionate about everything he does. His promos, the way he carries himself, he takes that that very to heart. From NWA and everything that happened in the pandemic, when we were making absolute zero money, he got a great opportunity coming to AEW, doing something that he did in NWA, which was to put himself over, which is with his charisma, his abilities on the microphone, and his abilities in the ring. He worked extremely hard to get on the top of AEW. So basically, she was a bit of surprise to hear about that. Now, for some stuff going on TNA, Joe Hendry was asked about joining WWE whenever his tenure with TNA is done, and this is what he said. My job is to be the TNA World Champion. My job is to represent TNA, to elevate the championship, and to elevate this company. So my focus is on TNA wrestling. So right now, he hasn't explained if WWE is his future, but we'll see how things will go. If he can pull it off, then kudos to him. Now, recently there's been announcements about people that were left TNA. Christy Hemme, Josh Matthews, and Mark Brown, who used to be the director for ROH, who was at the time director of TNA. And then we get a statement from the president of TNA, and this is what he had to say. George Rivas is the new executive producer of the Anthem Sports Group. George is a 10-time Emmy Award winner, president, and chief executive of Pro Football Hall of Fame Enterprises, as well president of Veris Communications Incorporated. Josh Matthews and Christy Hemme are no longer with the company. We appreciate their commitment in TNA throughout the years. Wish them wish them well in the future endeavors. So basically, we had people that left. Now we don't know what their plans are. I think some of you may think, would Christy M and Josh Matthews go back with WWE? Who knows? We'll see where that lies. But for now, we'll end things here, and let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you probably can guess, we have TNA and Ring of Honor, so we'll be doing that as well. So stay tuned for that. Now, I haven't decided if there's any other events I want to review. We'll just have to wait and see about that. I'll just wing it, see what comes up, and if not, then we'll see about that. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.